Hey guys, this is Steve Huff at SteveHuffPhoto.com. I'm here today with the Nikon DF, and my full review is now posted over at SteveHuffPhoto.com. This is the much hyped, much teased, much promoted Nikon DF from Nikon, and it is basically a DSLR with a Nikon D4 sensor in it. And even it has some improvements in low light, some slight improvements. It's the best performing sensor at high ISO that is on the market today. So if your main concern is shooting low light, high ISO, this is the dream camera for you. I remember when the D3 and the D3S came out, I was drooling over the low light capabilities, but I refused to buy one due to the size and the bulk and the weight. Same thing with the D4, same thing with the D800. I own the D700, but again, I got tired of the weight. The good news is the DF is much lighter than all of those, and it is the smallest full-frame DSLR that Nikon makes. So not only is it the smallest DSLR that Nikon makes, I have small hands, you could see my hand can totally cover the camera. It is also, in my opinion, the best looking, without a doubt, hands down, no questions about it. What's cool about the DF, Nikon, when they were promoting this, they were using the term pure photography, and that is because you can control the camera with manual dials and buttons very easily. It's manual control to the extreme here, basically. You have your dial here. Instead of a program mode dial, you have actually a dial you lift up, you turn to manual, aperture priority, shutter priority, or program auto. You can use it in auto even though it has manual control. You also have your shutter button right here, and which also doubles as your power button right there. You have your shutter speed dial here, and embedded into that is your frame rate dial. And then you have over here your ISO dial, your exposure compensation dial. And they feel very good and sturdy. I have no complaints about them at all. You have to press this button here to change your ISO dial. Press this button here to change your exposure compensation. You have a big bright optical viewfinder. And this is not a mirrorless camera. It is a DSLR, a digital SLR. So you have a mirror and you have an optical viewfinder as you do with other SLRs. So it's just like shooting any other Nikon full-frame digital SLR. Playback button, trash button, your AE button, your info or AF on button, another thumb scroll dial. You have lots of dials and controls, so if for the manual shooter, this is pretty much a dream camera, a manual Nikon shooter, I should say. From the back, it almost looks like a D800, D700. And from the front, it's all retro, vibed, kind of cool, sleek. And I did have the black, and I had the silver here, and I much prefer the silver in the hand, in the flesh, and using it just personal preference, cosmetics. I prefer the silver chrome over the black. Here you have your AF manual focus button here, your lens mount button, and here you have a bracketing button. Also, this is the kit lens that comes with it, the 51.8 Special Edition, which is supposed to resemble the older classic 50s. In some ways it does, in most ways it doesn't, but it's the same 51.8 G lens that is currently on the market. But if you're going to buy the DF and you don't have a Nikon lens, I highly suggest going with the kit because it actually is a very, very good combo. And in fact, that's all I'm really using it with is this 50, and it works out really great. So a lot of people are complaining about the Nikon DF, saying it's too expensive. But if you look at it through a different set of eyes, there's a lot of people, myself included, who would love a full-frame SLR from Nikon. But they don't want the big bulk, they don't want the ugly design, they don't want the weight of the D800 or the D4 series of camera. Sure, you have the D610, but it looks like the plain old plasticky looking lumpy fat DSLR that everybody else shoots. So there's also people who like manual dials and controls, and this is something that I've always loved and enjoyed. That's why I enjoy shooting the Leica M so much, You can shoot it manual. You have everything at your fingertips. So with the Nikon DF, once you shoot it for a couple hours, you learn where everything is, and it's second nature to control everything you need to control. And again, if you want to shoot it in auto mode and you just want to look cool shooting, you can do that as well. But a lot of people complain about it because it's $2,900 with the lens. But how much is a D4? Now this has the same sensor as the flagship D4. It's lighter, it's smaller, it's better looking. It may not focus as fast as the D4 and have some of the pro features of the D4, but this is half the price of a D4. So when you look at it that way, and considering you either are going to love the looks of it or you're going to hate it. Me, I love the looks of this. I'm so glad Nikon came out with it. Those who are trashing it are those who probably enjoy and love standard DSLRs. Me, I do not love and enjoy standard DSLRs, like I said, due to the looks, the design, the weight, the clunkiness, everything about them. That's why I've been shooting high quality mirrorless cameras for the past 3-4 years. But this Nikon is the first DSLR since the D700 that I would buy for myself, simply due to the fact that it's lightweight, yet at the same time it's built very well. The battery life, you can get 1,400 to 1,500 shots per battery, and it's a small battery. It's not even the big fat battery of the D700, D800. It's a slim new battery. So the battery life is amazing. The focus is fast in good light and in low light, and the low light performance, even at ISO 12,800, is usable. I shot some stuff at 25,600 and was blown away because I was never able to get anything near usable from other cameras. So in my tests, this beat out, for high ISO, it beat out the new Sony A7, A7R. It beat out the Olympus EM1, of course, which is what I'm using to film this with. It also beat out the old Nikon D4 slightly, and even the D3S slightly. By DxO, they tested the sensor and said this is the low light champion in the DF. So when you're looking at half the cost of the flagship D4 with better performance in low light using the same sensor, I don't think it's overpriced at all. Some people think it is, some people think it isn't. Like, why don't you just get a D610? I don't want a D610. It's ugly, it's not inspiring, and it's not something I would want to take out on a daily basis. I consider cameras, when I look at them and I say, would I shoot this on a daily basis? Would I take it out with me to a restaurant? Would I take it out with me to a store? If the answer is no, because it's too big and unruly or heavy, then I wouldn't even consider the camera. That's why I shoot a lot with Sony RX1, Leica M, Olympus EM1. They're small, they're high quality, and pretty amazing. Now the Nikon DF, would I take it every day? Sure, because I've been doing it for the past 3 weeks. It's a great camera, like I said. The image quality is fantastic, and for anyone looking for a high quality full frame SLR from Nikon and you want the retro good looks and design, I highly recommend the Nikon DF. Try it for yourself. Go to a shop, try it, put some lenses on it, shoot some frames. Even places like Amazon and B&H Photo in the US, they have return policies for a reason. And what they do is when they get the camera back, if you don't like it, they don't sell it to the next guy in line, they sell it at a discounted price. So if you're not completely happy with it, that's an option for you as well. So I think once people start getting this in their hands and trying it, they will like it. As far as Canon, they really have nothing right now that even competes. They have nothing exciting. They have their same old rehashed Rebel line, their same old 5D line. They really have nothing fresh, exciting, inspiring, revolutionary. Not that this is revolutionary, but it's unique. It's something different, something that can inspire and help you get out of a rut even on some days. So there it is, the Nikon DF, a throwback to the old 70s cameras from Nikon, the old 80s cameras in digital form with what I feel is their best sensor. A lot of people will say the D800 has the best sensor. I feel the D4 sensor is the best sensor because it has a mix of everything. You have 16 megapixels, which is plenty to print as large as you need to go. I used to print 20 by 30s with the Nikon D4 or D2HS. I would print 20 by 30s with those 4 megapixel files, and people would say, "Oh my God, look at the detail in that image." So with 16 megapixels full frame, that's plenty to print as large as you need to print. You do not need to obsess over every little pixel and see if there is a speck of dust on a tree leaf. That's kind of getting ridiculous, and it kind of takes away from the whole art of photography as a whole. So this has definitely enough megapixels for anyone's needs. It has the best low light performance. It focuses fast. It's built very well. Easy to control. There's no complaints in any of that, and it's highly recommended by me. I love it. It's the first DSLR since the D700 that I really fell in love with. And in case you're going to ask, guys, get people asking, I am using a Cub & Company strap on the DF. Actually, I had them make me a little custom colored one with some red accents and black leather. So that's from Cub & Company. You can Google them. They have some really cool old school style straps as well. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed this look at the Nikon DF. Great camera, great image quality, great speed, good looking. And if you want to see the full written review, head over to stevehufpphoto.com and you can read the whole 6,000 word written review with loads of real world samples that I've shot over the past 3 weeks. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching. Always check back. Bye.